Were God's patriarchs and matriarchs very imperfect? Yet were they also people of great faith? Is the same true of many church members today? After he left home to escape his brother's threats, how did Jacob meet Rachel? Then Jacob went on his journey and came to the land of the children of the east. He looked and saw a well in the field, and saw 3 flocks of sheep lying there by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. The stone on the well's mouth was large. There all the flocks were gathered. They rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone back on the well's mouth in its place. Jacob said to them, "My relatives, where are you from?" They said, "We're from Haran." He said to them, "Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor?" They said, "We know him." He said to them, "Is it well with him?" They said, "It's well. See, Rachel his daughter is coming with the sheep." How did that first meeting between Rachel and Jacob go? He said to them, "It's now only the middle of the day. It's not time yet to gather the animals. Water the flock and then go, put them out to pasture." They said to him, "We can't until all the herds are gathered, and then we roll the stone away from the well's opening and water the flock." While he was still talking to them, Rachel came with her father's flock, since she was its shepherd. When Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban his uncle, and the flock of Laban, Jacob came up, rolled the stone from the well's opening, and watered the flock of his uncle Laban. Jacob kissed Rachel and wept aloud. Jacob told Rachel that he was related to her father, and that he was Rebekah's son. She then ran to tell her father. When Laban heard about Jacob his sister's son, he ran to meet him. Laban embraced him, kissed him, and invited him into his house, where Jacob recounted to Laban everything that had happened. Laban said to him, "Yes, you are my flesh and blood." How did Jacob ask for Rachel's hand? Was he to work for his uncle? After Jacob had been there for a month, Laban said to him, "You shouldn't have to work without pay, just because you're a relative of mine. What do you want me to give you?" Laban had 2 daughters. Leah was older than Rachel, but her eyes didn't sparkle, while Rachel was beautiful and had a good figure. Since Jacob was in love with Rachel, he answered, "If you'll let me marry Rachel, I'll work 7 years for you." How did Laban deceive Jacob regarding his 2 daughters? Laban said, "It's better that I give her to you than I should give her to any other man. Stay with me." So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days, because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, that I may go into her, for my time is completed." So Laban gathered together all the people of the place and made a feast. But in the evening he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and he went into her. Laban gave his female servant Zilpah to his daughter Leah, to be her servant. And in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And Jacob said to Laban, "What's this you've done to me? Didn't I serve with you for Rachel? Why then have you deceived me?" What excuse did Laban give? Did Jacob finally get his wish for Rachel? How must Leah have felt? Laban answered, "It's not the custom in this place to give the younger daughter in marriage before the firstborn. Complete this week of wedding celebration, and we'll also give you this younger one in return for working yet another 7 years for me." And Jacob did just that. He finished the week of celebration, and Laban gave him his daughter Rachel as his wife. And Laban gave his slave Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as her slave. Jacob slept with Rachel also, and indeed he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he worked for Laban another 7 years. Was polygamy God's ideal from creation? Imagine having your husband only part of the time. Imagine being the neglected wife. did God take pity on Leah. Later the Lord noticed that Leah was being neglected, so he made her fertile, while Rachel remained childless. Leah conceived, bore a son, and named him Reuben, because she was saying, "The Lord had looked on my torture. So now my husband will love me." Later she conceived again, bore a son, and declared, "Because the Lord has heard that I'm neglected, he gave me this one too." So she named him Simeon. Later she conceived again, and said, "This time my husband will become attached to me, now that I've borne him 3 sons." So he named him Levi. Then she conceived yet again, and bore a son, and said, "This time I'll praise the Lord." So she named him Judah. Then she stopped bearing children. Were God's patriarchs and matriarchs very imperfect? Yet were they also people of great faith? Is the same true of many church members today? You decide.